Hey everyone, and welcome to another book review. This one is for a book that I checked out from the library, but I want my own copy now. And that is Must Love Books by Shauna Robinson. I really enjoyed the writing. I did listen to the narration along with this. There is a audiobook available on Scribd for this. I thought the narrator was Tyra Kennedy. I thought a fine job was done. Not the best audiobook that I've listened to, but I think it's just the tone of voice and the style. You're just not going to click with every narrator you read. It's the same thing with clicking with an author's writing style. So I think it was just a matter of not fully connecting with the voice tone and pacing and things like that. So it was fine. It was a well done narration, but not my favorite. And I think it's just because I didn't click with it. But I really liked the writing of the book. This was written by Shauna Robinson, like I said. Now, Shauna does have another book out. It appears to be that is another book about books. In the about author, it does talk about how she, Shauna was, it says, the love of books led her to a career in publishing before deciding she'd rather write books instead. So, she spends most of her time reading, baking, and figuring out the politest way to avoid social interaction. Yeah, that sounds about right. So, a book about books. The main character, Nora, works in publishing, and things are just falling apart in her life. So, the main male interest is Andrew, and Andrew is an author. So, you have someone that works in the publishing company developing feelings for an author. The author seems very sweet, very down to earth, and things like that. Now, the author does write nonfiction and really wants to portray his love of certain topics and how he has delved into the research of this. So, yeah, this takes place in California. You do have representation in this as far as racial diversity. You have someone that's mentioned that's Filipino. You have someone that's talked about being a mixed race, so half black, and I think the other one was white. So you do have that. There is talk about how I liked this towards the latter half of the book. It is touched on about how people will see the race of someone and just assume who the parent is, which is a very silly assumption to make because kids get adopted, and people don't say, well, because I'm white, I'm only going to adopt white people, or black versus black kids, and etc. You can adopt many different races. I have a cousin, and she's adopted Asian kids, so, and I've seen on Instagram this family that is black and they adopted white kids. So it's just, you don't have to stay within your race. And so to assume whose parents are just because of the race is, I think, really silly and kind of stupid. So, race is talked about this. It is talked about how the publishing field is predominantly white, and so how it's nice to see more diversity with authors and more diversity in the publishing field as far as editors and actual publishers and things like that. So, yeah. Let's see. As far as LGBT rep, you do have a character in this. Very minor side character, pops up a couple of times, and that character is gay. So you do have LGBT in this. So, what do you need to be aware of? One thing that I did like in this was there is a food allergy talked about, and I thought that was very well. This is the first time I've ever seen a food allergy in a book. In this particular book, the character with the food allergy is allergic to avocado. I've never heard of an avocado allergy, but you can be allergic to any food. So it was very nice to see how someone has to take the steps to say, if you're going to order me food, I'm okay with anything as long as it does not have this, which is the food allergy. Or going out to eat, and if you're entering a relationship, how it's good for that person to be aware so they don't accidentally order something that's going to make you very sick or kill you, depending on how severe the allergy is. So I liked seeing the food allergy in this. One thing to definitely be aware of, suicidal ideation is a big part of this book. So if you struggle with books having suicidal thoughts and ideations, you'll want to skip this book. It's a big part. One of the things that's referenced, which I liked this representation or how it was talked about, is that the suicidal thoughts and feelings and ideations is referred to as the creature, how the creature rears its ugly head, how the creature has dark black eyes. The creature wants company. The creature wants you to just give up, to look into the void, and things like that. I liked how it was referred to as a creature and done so in a negative way. And I liked seeing how someone can struggle with those thoughts and feeling very down on themselves, but yet having to act a certain way. So I thought that was very well handled. Okay, so that's pretty much all I can say. Romance, it's hard to say a lot about because it's your standard thing. Definitely big town romance because it does take place in San Diego, I think, in California. So it's a bigger town. I prefer small town romances, but I do enjoy a larger town romance every now and then. I also liked how there was talk later on in this of how you can live in a big town and then something that's a big tourist attraction you don't ever go to because it's a little bit more out of the way, or you're just not drawn to the big crowds. So I liked that. Another thing, there's a lot of lying in this. And that's really all I can say because it's a big major plot thread in this, and I don't want to say what it is without unraveling any of the book. So I'm going to leave it at that. There is a lot of lying by a particular character in this. So let's talk. I like this. I do recommend it. There is a sex scene, but it is closed door. So if you do not want anything sexually explicit, if you don't want to see the sex on page, there you go. This is closed door. So you're not seeing the characters have sex. It's just alluded to. It's like you have the build up, taking the clothes off, and then it's the next morning and she's getting out of bed and putting her clothes on. So it's just alluded to, you know they've had sex, but you're not actually seeing it. Okay, now let's get into stats. Words that are mentioned, you have, and this could be the actual word or sometimes there's a combination of words. I started to figure that out. But following words, you have bullshit entered, used 5 times. Hell is used 8. Shit 6 times. The word dick is used 7 times. Now I will say about that is the name of a company is DIC, but to add a comedic element, they add the K after. So as kind of a joke between employees. So it is used in reference to a company and just to kind of poke fun at things. The word asshole comes up once. The word God comes up 8 times. Fuck comes up 4 times. Damn 4 times. The word Christ comes up twice. Jesus comes up once, and not in a religious, respectful way. It's just kind of thrown out there how people normally talk when you go wander around and stuff like that. So those are the things and the representations in this. I enjoyed this. I really liked this. Again, I gave this a 4 stars. I liked the writing. I loved how the suicidal ideation was handled. I liked seeing the food allergy in there. It's the first time I've seen that again. So I enjoyed seeing that pop up. But I really do think that the struggles with the suicidal thoughts was handled very well. But again, do be aware it is very prevalent in this. So if you can't handle a character having that struggle, then you'll definitely want to skip this one. But I thoroughly enjoyed this. This was published by Source Books and came out in 2022. So let me know if you've read this book or the other book. I don't remember the name of the title, but anything else by Shauna Robinson, let me know. And what are your thoughts on this book if you've read it? So talk to me in the comment section below. And until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book. And I'll talk to you later.